All right, hello. Just explaining a chest workout I did 3/5/2025. Um, so I did a night routine and a day routine. So the day routine was I did dips off the gymnast rings, um, added some weight and lowered the reps, obviously. And then I did a down set, so nothing too complicated. Um, and basically, when I do the dips, I go for top of the tricep parallel with the floor, kind of like the squats. Um, if I can go a little lower, I try to, but once I start adding weight, it seems like when I go lower, it becomes more unstable. So I like to at least go parallel with the floor with the tricep. Um, I find that is pretty sufficient, I guess. I guess the term would be sufficient. It's probably another term to use, but I find that is sufficient, and that gives me the feel that I'm looking for in the triceps and the chest. Um, so that's what I did there for the dips on the gymnast rings. And then I also did fist push-ups, and I added some weight to myself. I didn't use the vest this time. What I did was I just used a belt and secured it to my back. I found that was a little bit more uh, consistent on the reps. I was able to go down the way that I wanted to, and it worked pretty well. And then I did flies, dumbbell flies on the floor. And sometimes I do these on the floor, sometimes I do them on a bench. I find that the floor gives a more, like, the length, the range of motion you're going, because obviously your arms can't go through the floor. So from time to time, I like to do them that way. And then when I do them that way, I can put a little bit more weight on because I have a consistent depth that I'm going, and I don't have to worry about like overstretching. But if you do flies quite often, I mean, you should be used to that stretch a little bit, but you still want to be careful doing the flies, obviously. When you stretch a muscle, you always want to be careful. You don't want to overload it too much. Just load it to the amount that you are able to do, and that's with every exercise. So, but the flies kind of gets a bad rap, because you're stretching it out like that. There's probably a lot of people that have been injured from them, but just make sure with any exercise you're starting light. Treat the exercise with respect. Just don't throw the weight around. Unless that's what the exercise is intended to do. There are some exercises where you do throw them around, like the cleans and stuff, the Olympic lifts. But on the exercises that you want to stay under control, stay in control as best you can. So that's what I did during the day. So I did the dips, the push-ups, and the flies. And then in the evening, I wanted to hit the neck presses again. Those are pin paused, and they're just a press to the neck. And always make sure you're using the pins for these to protect yourself, obviously. I don't recommend benching without pins. Even if you have a spotter, you don't know what can happen. You can drop the weight, and the spotter's not going to be able to grab it. So I recommend always using safety racks if you're able to. If you're not able to, figure out a way to be able to. Because I recommend always using them. There's just so much that can happen. You can get an injury where you drop the weight, and for a person to catch from a drop like that, it's you're asking a lot from one person to be able to just catch it like that. Especially if you have an injury where like you lose all function. So to me, always use the pins. That's just what I recommend. I bench by myself, so I have to use the pins. If I didn't use them, that'd be pretty ridiculous of me. So, with that being said, sorry, I just want to rant on that. I want to make sure that you realize the importance of that. But yeah, the neck press, it's more of a it gets a bad rap as well, because you're pressing clear up here towards your neck. But I tell you what, if you give it a try, Obviously use lighter weights and accustom yourself to it. If you're not able to go down all the way, of course, accustom yourself to that depth. Don't try to force anything, but you will feel it like right away. Like the first times I did this exercise, it just pumped my chest up like immediately. And now when I do it, like my chest is still sore. Did this on the 5th. My chest is still sore. So, and of course, I'm fairly weak, so that's probably one of the reasons why. But I do find that it is a very beneficial exercise. So if you've never tried it, give it a try, and of course, stay lighter in the weights. But that's pretty much what I did there. Pretty straightforward, nothing too complicated. Just like before, work up to a heavier set, then I did a down set. So I don't like to push this one too heavy. So I kind of went to just to a medium weight for me anyways. It's not heavy to probably someone that's super strong, but for me it was decently heavy. And I just did a down set, 12. So that's that. Hopefully this helps explain what I did and why. But on that note, go ahead, take care. Have a good rest of your day.